Hello everyone, my name is Helga and you're on my anime channel. Today I'd like to share with you my thoughts and emotions about this week's episode of Attack on Titan. It shocked me to the point that I had trouble falling asleep after watching it. If you agree with me or feel completely differently about it, I'll be glad to read your thoughts in the comment section because my feelings are still pretty mixed and I would like to know how other people see this plot point. So without further ado, let's go. Obviously, in this video, there are gonna be spoilers on Attack on Titan, the anime. Not the manga though, because I haven't read it. So I'll be talking about this series from the point of view of just an anime watcher. And I'd like to start by telling you about my experience with the show in general. I started watching it the year the first season came out, and my first exposure to it was really special because I watched it in a small theater in my hometown, which was put together by a local anime club. And because of a bigger screen and the immersive experience, I was really fascinated by the immensity of the show. I got really interested in this post-apocalyptic world that faces this big threat and tries to survive. And the backstories of the protagonists were also quite intriguing. Mikasa probably became my favorite one. I liked her reserved and determined personality. And of course, I had my own guesses about who the Titans really were. But even back then, I felt like there couldn't be a satisfactory explanation to it. So I just enjoyed the show for the sake of action and character dynamics. The other seasons I watched at home and felt kinda meh about them because of an occasional logical portrayal of the fighting scenes. I mean, when the side unnamed characters die stupid deaths and the protagonists seem to have a magical amulet against being killed. There literally was a scene in which one of the soldiers from their squad is standing still until Titan approaches and devours him. Haven't they all been trained to fight? Because sometimes it seemed like only the main characters could do it. In the third season, I also got pretty confused by the plot twists. I even had to read their summaries on various websites to fully understand what was happening. Maybe the long breaks between the airing of the seasons also influenced it. And for these reasons, I need to make a disclaimer that if I say something wrong plot-wise in this video, it's probably because I don't remember some details, so you can correct me in the comment section. By the way, talking about revelations of the third season, I was really amused that some characters turned out to be relatives. I was almost expecting them to start dancing like in a Bollywood film. I think it kind of made sense in terms of Levi and Mikasa because it put an interesting twist to their relationship, specifically his attitude towards her, but I'm disappointed that it hasn't really gone anywhere yet. As I mentioned in my previous video, when finishing the previous season, I got really mad at the show because of the huge plot twist of Titans being people from the other side of the sea, which turned the show from being a kinda zombie apocalypse shonen to a depressing war story where you don't know who to root for anymore. But when I started watching the final season, I got pretty excited about it again, because I found its themes about the power of propaganda and the influence of war on people's minds really interesting. And the previous episode only proved my assumptions about the ideas that the author wanted to deliver. For example, the idea that most of the enemies are also people who have been brainwashed or just follow the orders of their leaders and sometimes don't have another choice. And up until the end of Aaron's speech, I was sure that this realization would lead to putting the suffering of innocent people to an end somehow. Rationally, I understand that the war had been declared by Marley and that Aaron was announced to be the greatest threat to their country. But I was really hoping that he would somehow manage to prove they're wrong and wouldn't just confirm it by his actions. I understand that he also has a mission and most likely orders to follow, but didn't his country betray him and his comrades, keeping them unaware of the real situation all that time? Didn't he realize that it's his tribe, including his relatives, trapped in this concentration camp? Hadn't he talked to his own grandfather at the hospital? I still get that these titans killed Aaron's mother and a lot of his friends who he was fighting next to. That's why I feel kinda conflicted about this plot point. But by this time, the author made us realize that most of the Eldians are the victims of the regime and brainwashing that they grew up with. I mean, like, what is Aaron's squad even fighting for now? So him transforming and killing people just doesn't make total sense to me. But maybe that's what the author was going for. Maybe that's the plan, to show all the brutality of the war, where people have to choose their sides and kill others even if that's not what they want to do. But to me, I just don't know who to sympathize with in this series anymore. I'm like totally devastated and don't know who to root for anymore. Again, maybe that was the author's idea, to show that all the characters are flawed and not just black and white. But to me, Aaron's actions kind of crossed the line, and I'm not sure that I like him at all anymore. I think now Aaron looks like a crazy man, an unreliable and an unpredictable narrator who I can't understand anymore. Maybe it's the pacifist talking in me, but now when he realizes the Titans are not just big zombies that invaded his island, but people like him who got abandoned on the mainland, put in a concentration camp, and gaslighted this entire time, isn't there a way to just stop all this killing? I don't know, guys. Please write in the comments below how you feel about all this and if you can still sympathize with Aaron. It'll be really interesting for me to find out your points of view. If you've read the manga and know more than I do, please don't spoil it for me and for others. Because although I'm not sure if I like this story anymore, I'm still going to finish it. It's been a long journey and I genuinely want to know what the author wanted to say with all of this and what his final chord will be. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and click the little bell icon to get all the notifications about when I post new videos. Hope to see you soon. Bye!